Okay, so Bleach just kind of slapped me in the face. And Kubo, or Aizen, or both, made sure that I remembered how easy it is to fool readers like me. So let's get into it. Because what the actual Okay, so we finally have Ichigo back in the living world, and he's come barreling in, ready to end the war in one blow. He doesn't want to risk falling under Aizen's hypnosis, so doesn't want to give him a chance, going directly after the back of his neck, as any good Attack on Titan scout would. He knows how important this is. If he kills Aizen, he wins the war, the head of the snake and all of that. I liked that there's this kind of initiative from Ichigo. It reminds us what's at stake and the seriousness of all of this after learning in recent chapters that Ichigo might be their best bet and their only chance because he hasn't fallen under the hypnosis like everyone else. Every other Soul Reaper already being previously subjected to Aizen's power is something that these other characters probably should have thought more about. I'm just saying. Not that it will come back to bite them in the ass or anything, right? Right? So Aizen doesn't fear Ichigo, and he treats him like a boy, one that he can easily predict and goad at doing what he wants him to do. He acts like he's in his head, reading his thoughts, and trying to make it clear to Ichigo that he is not ready to face him. And that becomes pretty apparent. We've got our main hero against our big villain, and what was initially this big pump-up moment quickly gets deflated as we realize that Ichigo really doesn't stand a chance in a direct attack. He'll need everyone's help, and everyone that can still fight is ready to give him their help and to give him an opening. I should mention that prior to this, Shinji faced off with Aizen and displayed some of his power. The whole idea of reversing perception and being in a so-called upside-down world was cool. I loved that it tied back to when we first saw Shinji floating upside down. I liked that a lot. Unfortunately, it's made pretty clear that Shinji can't beat him on his own. Both of them have abilities that kind of mess with perception, but Aizen's are just superior. But I loved all of the other characters coming to help Ichigo, to protect him until he could get the shot that he needed. It shouldn't be hard, right? Hypothetically, we've got all of these strong characters willing to fight Aizen together. Just one guy versus everyone. Since Gin doesn't seem to get involved lately, we have the numbers. We can do this. The way that Kubo shows what comes next is powerful, with these characters all leaving Ichigo as he has to stay back and watch them charge the enemy is great. There's a helplessness to it. We're stuck only being able to watch just like Ichigo. I was feeling the worry as each person left him to go take their shot, and Kubo strikes Ichigo's emotions perfectly, conveying the fear for his allies, while also letting us feel the flicker of hope. Just like Ichigo, we know what these characters are capable of. Some are captains, some are visored. We've seen them defeat some really powerful enemies, so surely they have a chance. They don't. What I absolutely adore about this section of events is just the absolute showcase Kubo puts on to really show why Aizen should be feared. It's not to say that he hasn't given good reason before this. He absolutely has. Like how Aizen handled things during his whole betrayal, like cutting down Komamura with ease, or when Aizen made Grimmjow crumble to his knees while he just sat there and drank tea, or even when he casually cut down Harabel. There have been moments showing Aizen's strength, but a lot of Aizen's power usually resonates through his words. He's a great talker, but his physical prowess has only been shown in brief little spurts. Otherwise, he's in the background, being scary from a distance. He's a classic manipulator, killing through conversation and through plotting, only getting his hands dirty when he needs to. And now he needs to, as he's up against just about everyone. And he's totally calm about it. Aizen starts to really show what he can do, and it's absolutely terrifying to watch him slice through so many of these characters with so little effort. And Gin's thoughts on Aizen's power helps to really highlight just how superior he is to all of these heroes that we believe in, quickly snatching away the hope and the comfort that Ichigo had by being surrounded by his allies. The power of the captains and of the visor just absolutely pales in comparison to Aizen. It doesn't matter how they come at him. It just feels so futile all of the progress the heroes have made, beating most of Aizen's soldiers only to have hit a complete wall when finally facing the big bad himself. And Ichigo is only able to watch as his allies get cut down. It's just such a cold sequence with Aizen just humiliating these characters. I know that they're not in their top form. You know, a lot of them have been through fights, some of them are injured. She's missing an arm, but this feeling of Aizen being unstoppable was what made it so satisfying when the captains had finally found a way to break through, combining their efforts and abilities to try to deceive the deceiver, and it really seemed to be working. Aizen was on the back foot. He's surprised, maybe even scared, and then Hitsugaya lands this devastating blow, and I was like, damn, yes! Now, obviously, I didn't think this was lethal or anything. That would have been too easy. Like, I was thinking when he's pushed to this point, maybe Aizen would don a hollow mask or transform to bring us to this next stage after being outmaneuvered. But what happened next was so much more shocking than that and perfectly suited Aizen's character. Aizen is an illusionist, a hypnotist. He is the kind of character whose power comes from making others believe in what they're seeing. And the most incredible part is that goes for both the other characters on the page and especially for the readers. And that's what always makes these tricks he pulls so incredible. They hit me just as hard as they hit the characters, and it's so impressive since Kubo has established what kind of character he is already. We know that he's tricky and deceptive, but he's so good at writing Aizen in a way where I get lulled back into a false sense of thinking like I know what he might do, when I absolutely don't. I just think I do until Aizen and Kubo show me that I'm wrong. Just when I think I know how the magician is performing his trick, I realize that I have no idea how that rabbit got into that hat. I only believed what the illusionist wanted me to believe to make their next move work. It's genius. And speaking of the next move, let's talk about the moment when Kubo once again used Aizen to trick me. I'll give you a little bit of a play-by-play of what I was thinking in these few pages. Aizen's been stabbed. It's a small victory. Like I said, I didn't think it was a finishing blow, but instead felt like, okay, we can land a hit, which means there's a chance we can land more. Aizen wants to be a god, but he's a god that can bleed. A little moment of catharsis, of hope. Everyone's surprised. I'm surprised. Even Aizen's surprised. And to have this victory be Captain Hitsugaya that got him, it just felt right. I've wanted him to get a shot at Aizen, and now he's gotten it. Hitsugaya hates Aizen, and he talks about throwing away his captaincy and his honor for a chance at getting revenge on him for what he's done, for what he did to Momo. We know how justified Hitsugaya's hatred is, and it helps the moment feel like a personal win. Even Shinji is like, this is a turning point. It feels like we have a chance. Aizen can get hurt. When Momo got up from being healed and started walking, I was worried that she was going to attack Hitsugaya or something for stabbing Aizen. Like maybe the mental anguish and the trauma she's been through was still too much. Maybe Aizen's claws were still too deep where she would try to help him, where she had just been brainwashed. But what came next was so much worse. Everything changes when Ichigo is on the sidelines and is suddenly confused by what he's seeing, freaking out, and is like, what are you all doing? And the following page broke me. Straight up. It broke me. Because it turns out Hitsugaya didn't stab Aizen. No, he stabbed Momo. Yes, Momo Hinamori, who was so horribly impaled by someone close to her, has once again been horribly impaled by someone close to her. And yes, this time the stabbing was accidental on Hitsugaya's part, but it was absolutely intentional by Aizen. He once again got Momo run through by the Zanpakuto of someone that she trusts and that she loves. Guys. This was messed up on so many levels. I sat there just shaking my head at how masterfully Kubo just injected this bit of horrific trickery once again. I'm telling you, he knows how to write Aizen's machinations in a way that comes off the page, where I feel like my perception is also tainted because I've seen his Zanpakuto release. Legitimately, it feels that way. I feel like I am under the spell too, just like just about everyone else. And I'm like, this is horrible. What did we just do? Just putting her through that again, ugh. But what was Ichigo seeing this whole time? Was he just seeing the Soul Reapers assault Momo? He must have, right? Because he isn't under the hypnosis. But the part that freaks me out is that maybe he was trying to tell them the whole time, but they wouldn't be able to hear him anyway, since Aizen messes with all of the senses. Was he messing with the hearing too? Like, was Ichigo shouting and trying to warn them, but for them and for us, we couldn't hear him? The real question is, when? The Momo that got up from being healed turned out to be Aizen, who immediately cuts down some more heroes, but like again, when? When did Aizen switch? Was all of this fake from the very start? It must have been somewhat real at one point when Ichigo was attacking him, because he would have seen the real him. I went back and I tried to find a definitive point that might have been when the switch happened, but I can't find one. I just know that I can't trust any of what I'm seeing, because we might be seeing some of this from the perspective of the captains, obviously, since to the readers, we saw that too. It looked like Aizen got stabbed. It's seriously so ingenious how Kubo plays with all of this on the page. It's fun. It feels like a twisted game where I'm trying to figure this guy out while he's messing with my head. I've seen villains use illusions as their primary weapons before. Loki from Marvel did a lot of illusions that could fool the audience too sometimes. Or Silas from the Vampire Diaries tried to be that kind of villain, where you couldn't entirely trust what you're seeing. But those villains haven't used this kind of power as well as Aizen has, or at least and how it affects me as a viewer. Kubo figured out a way to make it really trick the audience, to mistrust what we're seeing on the page, the images that he drew that he knew were lies. It's so good. And to see this happen to Momo, who hasn't even recovered from the last time she got stabbed. Come on. Damn it. It makes it so much worse, and I got a little emotional when she asks Hitsugaya why. Like, she does not deserve this. She just had her mind like flayed by Aizen's betrayal, and now she just got stabbed by the other person she cares about most, someone that's been with her longer than Aizen. So from her perspective, it looks like she just got back off the bench and now someone else she trusted stabbed her. And to trick Hitsugaya into doing this, knowing full well how much Momo means to him, Aizen saw how much rage Hitsugaya had when Aizen stabbed Momo, and is now literally forcing him into doing the same thing to her. It's just so demented, I love it, but it's so messed up. Kubo, my hat's off, man. You got me. You got me again. You got me. Aizen breaks everyone, including me, on a mental level, and then he cuts down more of them with little effort. He knows exactly where to hurt them, how to make them vulnerable, and then beat them. It's insane how much these characters did not stand a chance. And yes, some of them, like I said, were already tired and injured, but I honestly don't think them being at their best would have made a difference. Aizen's power had already seeped into their minds. They were doomed from the start. He had complete advantage and complete control of the situation. God. And to think how long ago he prepared for this. He showed his fellow Soul Reapers his release, over a century ago. And his power still has a hold on them. It's insane. Aizen has been an incredible villain since he first revealed himself to be one, but I think this just solidified him in my mind as absolutely, undeniably, one of the most effective villains I've seen in an anime or in a manga, if not fiction in general. To be a force of antagonism that can so naturally break down our heroes physically, mentally, emotionally, and with so much intelligence too. It's rare when a villain makes me scared when he's on the page, but Aizen was doing that here. A fictional character is messing with my head just as much as he's messing with everyone else's. It's truly incredible stuff. I don't know a time when I felt so manipulated by a character, like the feeling of being utterly duped. Aizen is smarter than me. He just is, and I've got to accept it. But there still might be a small flicker of hope as a blazing inferno arrives on the battlefield. And I am so ready to see Aizen get cooked. I don't think it'll happen, but I need it to. At least a little bit. Properly singed, at least. Wow. Thank you so much for watching, guys. These chapters really messed with me, but it was fantastic. Someday I'll hopefully be able to look back and really dissect the entire scope of Aizen's genius writing once I have the whole story in context. That'll be fun and mildly embarrassing for me, but what else is new? Aizen got me again. Kubo got me again. Bleach tricked me again. It'll probably happen again. I'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support the channel more, please become a member. I can't wait to see what happens next. I'll talk to you all next time. Take care. Bye.